walkthrough of how to pre-flight and package a document in InDesign. So I'm going to scrunch this up here. If you remember, in class we talked about if there are no problems with your file, you'll get the green light and you're good. But I also did mention that the profile, the default one, doesn't check for colors to make sure they're RGB or CMYK, and we want CMYK for print. And it also doesn't check for the resolution of the images. Now I'm going to go to the define panels, and I'm going to create my own. I actually had one, but now it's not there. I'm not sure why, but I'm just going to say print, because I also want it to check for RGB. I don't want RGB. And then I also want it to check the images for the resolution. So I want a minimum of 300 ppi for images. So I'm saving this new profile here. So now I have it. If I go into this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a lot of errors. Yeah, so there I have errors. I can click on this and open. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm opening the Preflight panel. And you can also do this under Window. It's in here as well. I can't remember where, but it is in here. Anyway, so here's a Preflight panel, and it's telling me I have 9 things that have color issues. So these are all my images. So I would need to go into Photoshop and change these from RGB images to CMYK. And then all those issues would go away. And then also I have 5 of my images are lower resolution than they're supposed to be. And actually this is something I didn't show you in class. Down here there's another section, and the cool thing about this is it will tell you what the problem is. Not just that there is a problem, but what the problem is. So there used to be a way to move this up, but it doesn't let you anymore. So if I click on this, it tells me that it's only 270 ppi and I want 300. So I know that I either have to get a different image or make that image smaller on the document. Same here. So, or find a different one is what I would do. Like this cloudy sky one that I use on my cover is really low res, and so it's not good. As well as the colors. If I go in here and I click on them, it tells me that the image uses RGB and that's not allowed. So this little info section down here is very helpful. But we're going to pretend that everything's hunky-dory. We have a green light. I fixed everything, and I'm going to package this. So I'm going to go to File, Package, and this dialog box will pop up. And the area that you really need to pay attention to is this area right in here. So you need to make sure that there's no missing fonts, no protected fonts, because that always could cause a problem unless you own the font. Here it says there's 11 links, and links are images or other things that are placed. So it says that there's 11 that are placed, but none that are pasted, copy and pasted. But it does tell me that 9 of them you're using the RGB color space. So this is sort of like a last place to check and make sure everything's okay. The other thing you want to check is your fonts and make sure all your fonts are okay and that the status is okay and that they're not protected. And the same with your images. You want to make sure that everything comes up and there's no missing or anything. The status needs to be linked, or that they're all linked. So that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and click. I'm not going to worry about these other ones. I'm going to go ahead and click Package. This is that little text file that gets generated where you can put in your name and your phone number and instructions to your printer if you want to, or if you're working with you're sending it to another graphic designer, you might want to put a message in there, and then you say continue, and then you get the save window, and the things you need to remember are that you want to tell it to copy the fonts, so it makes a set of the the fonts into your package. Now it won't package typekit, but it knows that when you open up that InDesign file in that package, it'll know that it needs to go to typekit to find that font. And then someone told me yesterday that this means some kind of Chinese, Japanese, Korean font, I think, is CJK. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, I want to leave that checked. I want to leave copy linked graphics, so any images that you placed in your document, it will make a copy of those to put in the package. And then this is a good thing to leave just in case you've moved the image or you've changed an image slightly and it hasn't updated in InDesign yet. It'll make sure that everything is updated. And this, if you remember, IDML means that this is an older version. It'll open up an older versions of, it's not an older version of file, it's a format that will open in older versions of InDesign, as well as this PDF. You can make a PDF, print PDF, and you can even choose your presets. Sorry. The only problem with this is if you want to put crop marks and stuff on it, it may or may not. Now I think this one, I have a modified version. I think that will put crop marks on it, but generally you can't rely on that. So you can leave it checked, but if I ask you for a PDF edition with crop marks, you need to do that in a separate export. So I'm going to go ahead and package. It's going to give me a warning about my fonts, and now it's packaging. And now all these documents will show up in a folder. Let me see if I can find one for you. Hold on, I have a bunch of documents open while I'm recording this. I apologize. Let's see. Not sure where I saved that to. I'm not sure where I saved that to, so let me do a little search here. Sorry about this. This is just for you guys. So today, here we go. All right, so here's my folder. This is the folder that got exported. So I have my InDesign file. I have the PDF that I probably wouldn't use anyway. I have that IDML file that will open up in older InDesign apps. I have my document font, so it copied the 3 fonts. It always has this Adobe font in here, but these are the 3 fonts I used. And then the links copied all the images that I used. So that's how you package a file. If you wanted to export as PDF, you just say export. And remember, you need to make sure that it says Adobe Print here, and not Adobe in PDF Interactive. And we want print. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go ahead and replace the one that's there. And then on this, the biggest things to remember is that you want to use 2001, that preset 2001. And then you want to go over to marks and bleeds and make sure crop marks is what I think crop marks are the only thing I asked for in class, but whatever kind of printer's marks I asked for. And then make sure you check use document bleed and settings so that the bleed will actually print on the print or show up on the PDF. So if I do that, and let me hide this, oops, and we'll see. I'm not sure where that went. Let me search for it again. So here's that folder again. So this is the PDF I just exported, which was different from the first one, and you can see it has the crop marks on it. And that is that.